Hello, thank you so much for tuning in again. I'm the Pigment Fairy, and today I'm going to be talking about 5 things to do when you're furloughed. Yeah, so I was recently furloughed about 4 days ago. I'm a furloughed fairy. This is a very new experience for me. I've had other things like this happen before, but this is brand new. Years ago, this place that I was working at shut down and my entire household income went to 0. Nobody really knows what to do in this situation, but I've got some tips for you. See you in a second. Hello, thank you so much for tuning in again. I'm the Pigment Fairy, and if this is your first time here, my goal of this entire channel is to encourage those sparkly dreams inside of you through art and inspiration. And if that's something that you enjoy, if you enjoy being inspired, maybe through bubbly silliness, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever a new video comes out. So let's get to today's topic. Now I have a red spot. Today I'm going to be talking about what to do when you have been furloughed by your employer. We are all in a pretty tough situation right now. Some of us have even gotten that dreaded phone call from our employers letting us know that we have been furloughed. It has a similar, probably emotional effect on you as being laid off or losing your job in some way, but it is a little bit different. So I've got 5 tips together. I might do 6 tips. I haven't decided yet. Definitely 5, possibly a bonus tip. I don't know yet, but let's get into it. So tip number 1 is pause. Don't panic. Nobody wants to hear that they've been furloughed. It can have a pretty big impact on your ego. It can make you question yourself. It can make you give you feelings of worthlessness, have an impact on that sparkle inside of you. My goal is to help you get through this period. You're probably wondering why I'm standing in front of a canvas of kind of chaotic art behind me. This piece is called Ice. A lot of times my art pieces don't speak to me until afterwards. It didn't turn out the way I expected it by any stretch. I actually made a lot of mistakes with it. If you've ever seen any of my other videos, I sometimes go through the different process of how I do each step. This particular one, I messed up all of my steps. It still turned out into something that I enjoy. Now, this chaos probably is what you're feeling right now. You're probably feeling like, I have no idea what to do. The first thing you should do is nothing. Pause. Now is the worst time to jump into any big decisions. Slow down. Find a sense of calm. You don't have to pressure yourself into finding your perfect plan and making everything happen all at once. That leads me into the second one. Be nice to yourself. Tip number 2, be nice to yourself. Allowing yourself to pause gives you that time to go in and go for a walk. Call your mom, best friend, reach out to friends on Facebook, take a long bath, just do something that is nice. Realize that this is not your fault. This is a crazy time and you are not alone. Being furloughed typically means that your employer wants to keep you on. It's just that they're going through a hard time, and in order to stay afloat and to have a job for you at the end of all of this madness, they can't afford to pay you right now. So be nice to yourself, emotionally and physically. Speaking of employers, leads me to tip number 3. Don't burn bridges. Now is not the time to call up your coworker Becky in accounting and tell her what you really think of her annoying nail biting and mouse banging habits. Not the time to burn any bridges, not even just when you're furloughed. It's best never to burn bridges, right? You never know who's gonna end up where at the end of all of this. Becky from accounting might end up being the hiring manager of a different place that you apply for. You know, you don't have to be best friends with everybody, but just be nice to the fourth one. You probably instinctively want to start going into the mode of trying to fix everything right now. Now is the time, while you're taking that pause and being nice to yourself, to figure out what you want to do. You are possibly not tied to a very particular day-to-day routine like you're used to. Now is the time to take advantage of that and really meditate on what it is that you want to do. Is there a novel that you've been wanting to write? A screenplay? Have you always wanted to go into acting? Have you always wanted to be a painter or a sculptor? Have you always wanted to be a teacher? Whatever it is, take the time now and make that long-term plan. Where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10, 15 years? And then tip number 5, go ahead and start making that short-term plan. Beefing up your resume, networking with other people, trying to figure out what your next step is and where you're gonna be right out the gate from this period of however long it's going to be. Make sure that whatever you do lines up with that long-term plan. That's it. While you're doing all of this introspection, bonus tip, you might as well pick up a hobby. If you don't know what it is that you want to do for the rest of your life, just find a little bit of a hobby. It might end up being the thing that you want to do for the rest of your life. For me, right now, I'm creating a YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to it. Boop, like button. I think it's over here somewhere. Oh, this side, sorry. This side. Hit that like button. Yay! I'm keeping this one short and sweet. I truly hope that you found some sort of inspiration in this. My goal, like I said, is to spread happiness and hope wherever I can. So my question of the day, what hobby have you picked up? Maybe it'll help some other people that are viewing this to think of some ideas of their own. I would love for you to help me inspire the rest of the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm the Pigment Fairy, and if you like what you saw, please don't forget to subscribe. And I am looking forward to continuing to help protect your sparkle. Bye.